Listen, 6.5 years ago, I decided I was going to read the whole Bible. Like I was going to start at Genesis and read to Revelation. Not in one sitting, I ain't that crazy, all right? But I decided I was going to do it, man. Like I wanted to get to know the character of this God that I love. And I thought, what better way than to start at the beginning and read to the end? So I opened it up and I started. About 2 months into that, tragedy hit our household. And we lost our firstborn son at 21 years old. So I put the Bible down. I couldn't keep going. I didn't have the heart. But I kept walking past. A couple of weeks went by, finally I picked that Bible up and I held it up at God. And I said, I'm going to give you a chance. Imagine telling the God of all creation that you're going to give him a chance, right? That's what I told him. And I meant it. And I opened it back up and I started reading. And as I read, I learned something about relationship. See, to have a relationship with anyone, you gotta be talking to them. And they gotta be talking to you. You have to be listening to them. And they have to be listening to you. Well, the way I see it, the way God talks to us is through his word. And the way we talk to him is through prayer. So if those two things aren't happening, you gotta wonder, do I really have a relationship with God at all? And there's something beautiful that comes with having a relationship with the God of all creation. You see, he makes us these promises. And the promise that I've been hanging on to with everything in me for the last 6.5 years is this. God promises that if you have a relationship with him, he will never leave you or forsake you. Never. Listen, sometimes it's hard. When my heart got broken, I sort of started forgetting what God promised and what he didn't. But God didn't promise us that we wouldn't face really hard things on this earth. He didn't promise us that our hearts wouldn't be crushed. He didn't promise us that we wouldn't lose the ones we love. What he promised is that he would never leave. And I can only tell you this from my personal story. No matter how hard it was, he was there. He didn't leave. He was there for me, and he will be there for you because he's God and he promised you. I'm not saying it was always easy to find him. I'll admit sometimes I had to sit there for a long time and wait and listen really hard. But he was there. He didn't leave. He remained faithful. It's been a hard year, it almost took me down, I swear. Life is so good, I'm not so sure we knew what we had. I'll never be the same man. I'll never feel like I felt before. It's been a hard year, it almost took me down. But when my world broke into pieces, you were there faithfully. When I cried out to you, Jesus, you made a way for me. I may never be the same man, but I'm a man who still believes. When I cried out to you, Jesus, you were there faithfully. Yes, you were. I've had a hard time finding the blue in the skies above me. And if I'm keeping it real, I've been half fake and the happy they see. I may look like the same man, took me down. But when my world broke into pieces, you were there faithfully. When I cried out to you, Jesus, you made a way for me. I may never be the same man, but I'm a man who still believes. When I cried out to you, Jesus, you were there faithfully. In my darkest hour, you met me so quietly, so gently. You said you never leave, and you stood by your word. So quietly, so gently, and all my pain you bear me. You said you never leave, and you stood by your word. 'Cause when my world broke into pieces, you were there faithfully. When I cried out to you, Jesus, you made a way for me. I may never be the same man, but I'm a man who still believes. When I cried out to you, Jesus, you were there faithfully. When I cried out to you, Jesus, well, you were there faithfully.